Single out salute. I'm Lord Maitreya, the hip hop futurist. You're now tuned into the Super Longevity Institute podcast. This evening, I have one of the illest producers in the culture. He was discovered by DJ Clark Kent. He began his career at one-third of North Carolina's first hip hop groups, the Busy Boys. Alongside Mixmaster D. Doris, Carmen Owens, Fanatic dances Move and Groove. In the early 90s, he moved to New York City and was a member of the group Original Flavor, the first group managed by future recording industry executive Dame Dash. His production credits is crazy. He worked on Camp Lo's album Uptown Saturday Night, Jay-Z's first album Reasonable Doubt. He produced 4 hits off that album: Dead President, Feeling It, and Politics as Usual. He worked on Jay's second album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1. He's done production for many elite MCs. AZ's Do or Die, Lord Tariq Peter Guns, Bronx Cross Expressway, and for the MC Currency. I know y'all know Currency. Currency is dope. Ladies and gentlemen, futurist worldwide, the legendary Ski Beatz. Yo, welcome to the Institute, my brother.
Hey man, thank you for that intro. That was amazing.
Yo, man, I'm inspired by you, man. Yo, I'm trying to learn how to produce like you. I bought me an MPC. I said this shit is hard. I said number one, the equipment is expensive, and then it's harder. I'm like, what the hell? There's a learning curve with this production stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? There's a learning curve. So, what made you just want to pick up and come to New York City? You know what I'm saying? What made you want to make that move? And how old were you?
Shoot, I was probably like 18, 19 when I first moved to New York.
Wow.
I'm originally from North Carolina, and if you wanted to make it in the music business around that time, you had to be in New York,
Wow.
And the guy who owned the label, Payroll Records back then, rest in peace, Roland Jones, he was from New York. And so he asked me, hey, I'm about to move back to New York. Would you want to come with me? So I asked my mom, and she was like, yeah, you can go. And boom, I moved to New York.
Who did you know up here? North Carolina and New York is like a big difference.
2 different worlds.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I knew Roland,
Okay.
and me being in the group, the Busy Boys, we used to open up for, groups like Dane and Clark Kent.
Get out of here.
Man, rest in peace, Ecstasy.
Rest in peace.
Sparky, Kane, everybody from New York had to come through Greensboro to perform at the Greensboro Coliseum. And we was the main group from Greensboro that opened up for all of them. So I was meeting all these, these dope rappers that I admired back in the 80s and 90s. And they told me like, hey, if you ever come to New York, look us up. And I looked up Clark Kent at the perfect time. He was A&R at Atlantic Records.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
I didn't even know Clark Kent. I just thought Clark Kent was a DJ. I didn't know he even did A&R work.
Yeah, he was A&R at Atlantic
That's
Records.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you all right, let me go back a little bit. The Busy Boys.
Yeah.
What was the members in the Busy Boys? How many people was in the Busy Boys?
Busy Boys had it was me, Rhythm Fanatic, Mixmaster D, 2 dancers, Moving Groove.
Moving Groove, right. Wow. Did y'all record any music?
Yeah, did we? Yes.
Oh, okay.
We recorded an album. We had it's funny because the record that we had called Dropping It, they used to play it in New York. That was one of the reasons I moved to New York too. I remember being we actually went to New York for a minute and did an interview on with Mr. Magic and Red Alert and all of that because we had a record that New York was playing and they didn't know who we were. They didn't know, we was just kids from North Carolina. And that's how I kind of got introduced to New York. But then, obviously I moved back and stayed.
What was the hip hop scene like in North Carolina in the early 90s?
Dope. In the early 80s, baby.
The early 80s? Wow.
Right. Man, it was wild because we was emulating everything New York was doing. everything minus the buildings. You know, we had the
Mm.
break dancers, we had the graffiti artists, we had the DJs, we had the rappers, we had everything, man. The crazy clothing, the girls with the
Wow.
wild hairstyles. It was just like New York, but minus the buildings.
Crazy. Who taught
Mm.
you? I mean, how did you get into production? Who were you like? How? What? Who did
Well, I mean,
anybody mentor you?
yeah, I was rapping, you know, with the group, the
Right.
Busy Boys. I was the rapper,
That's
and I had a producer,
crazy.
the Fanatic. And when he got his SP 1200, I was there. I was reading the book. I was saying, okay, press this button to do this and do that. And while I was reading the book, I was kind of learning at the same time he was learning. So when he wasn't on the machine, I would get on the machine to make beats. But I wasn't thinking ever about being a producer. I just like making beats. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fascinating to sample things and make your own things. And I just kind of got good at it. Then my mom, she bought me a SP 1200 because she saw how much I was into it. And when she did that, um, around that time, that's when I had moved to New York, but I didn't bring Fanatic with me. I didn't have a producer. So I had to make my own beats for myself. So I had my SP, making my own beats, just creating joints, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
just it all clicked, man. It all clicked.
Wow, you said the
Wow, you
SP
said the
twelve
SP
hundred.
1200.
SP 1200,
I
yes.
want to.
I
I
want to. I
definitely.
definitely.
Hold on. I got an echo. I gotta fix that. 1, 2. There we go. Yeah. I want to get a SP 1200, man. What is it like working with that? Cause I see a lot of producers still like Pete Rock. He Large Professor. I see them still with that SP 1200, man. Is that like a?
It's a beast, man. It's very user friendly. I mean, it's now compared to the new equipment, it's like super slow and kind of it's like, man, I can do this shit right here in 5 seconds on the MPC
Mm,
opposed to this, but it's something about the SP 1200 that's just you know it just has some kind of magic dust or something built into this thing. It's just incredible, bro.
yo, I gotta get one of those. Do they still sell them?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
get? Can I grab one?
man, they like 6 grand right now, baby.
Damn. See, that's what I'm saying. Producers pay. I mean, I see something funny online today where they were talking about the artists have to pay for everything. I said, so does the producers. You know what I'm saying? The producer, you know how much a monitor costs? One
Man,
monitor.
a lot.
I mean, so how did you meet Original Flavor?
I didn't meet original flavor. I created original flavor. I was
Mm.
when I was making these beats while living when I first moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't move to New York per se. I was living in Newark, New Jersey, with the guy Roland Jones who owned the record label that the Busy Boys was on.
Okay,
So
see, I got it.
he had got a studio in New Jersey, and I used to actually live in the studio. So I would be there every day just making beats. I had the B room, and this other guy from Canada named Marlon, he did dance music. He had the A room. So he had some clients that came to see him. It was a cop, and it was my first partner, Swab Lover of Original Flavor at the time, but obviously he wasn't when I first met him. Anyhow, the cop was a rapper, and he wanted to buy beats from Marlon, but he
That's
overheard
crazy.
me in the studio B making beats. So he's like, yo, who's back there making beats? And Marlon was like, yo, that's Ski, man. Matter of fact, you need to go talk to him because he does hip hop. I do dance music. So he came to the back. He heard the beats. He was like, yo, man, these beats are dope. Do you sell beats? What are you doing? I'm like, nah, I just make beats, man. Well, where do you live? I'm like, well, I live here in the studio. He said, yo, I'll make you a deal. If you make me some beats, I'll let you stay in my apartment in Harlem that already has a studio built out
That's
in it.
crazy.
And so I'm like, word. And he was a cop. So I'm thinking I could trust him. Like, this is a cop, New York,
Right, right.
I can do this. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So I went, he took me across the bridge. I seen the apartment. It was laid out. He had the mixing board, everything. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. And he was living with his girl. So that apartment was mine for like maybe 6 or 7 months while I was making his beats. While I was making his beats, I was, getting to know Suave, and I was listening to him rhyme. And I'm like, yo, dude, we should make an album together. You here every
Mm.
day with me while I'm making these beats. So we started working on original flavor stuff while I'm doing the beats for the cop. When I got the all the songs composed for original flavor, I took it to Atlantic Records because I knew Clark Kent was there. I called Clark. I
Mm.
said, yo, this is Ski. I got a demo. I want to give it to you. I'm come through. He said, all right, yeah, come up. So I took him the CD, but he wasn't there. So I had to leave it at the front desk with the receptionist. So I
Wow.
left. 2 weeks later, I'm in North Carolina visiting my mom Took Swab with me. Get the phone call. It's Clark Kent. He's like, yo, you got to come back to New York. Atlantic Records want to sign you. So they
That's
flew us back.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How
When I
old were
got
you?
back, I was like 19.
Damn.
I'm like, no, I was like 20. Hold on. I was like 22, something
You're
like that.
crazy.
Yeah. Landed in New York. As soon as we got there, man, walked into the office. It was Clark right here, Dame Dash, and Darian Dash. He was like, yo, this is my friend Dame Dash. This is his cousin Darian. They want to manage your group. They love your music. And I'm young. I'm like, yo, let's go. Everybody, let's get down. You feel me? As long as I get this record deal, yes, you can manage me. And then I got to know Dame, and I'm in this crazy world of Dame Dash. I'm like, yo, this
Yeah.
kid is crazy. But I loved him, man,
Sharp.
because Dame, he's always been the same with
Sharp.
$1 in his pocket to $100 million
Yeah.
in his pocket. Never changed. People might think he's arrogant because he,
Nah.
that's how he's always been.
Yeah, yeah. I everybody in every hood has a Dame Dash in it.
Yeah.
That's everybody. I know people in my hood. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? Everybody, he's sharp. Dame Dash is sharp, man.
Oh, yeah.
When you came to New York City, where were you living? What borough was you living in?
When I first moved to New York, I was living in Harlem.
All right, that's right. You say you was living in Harlem.
I was living in Harlem. Then I moved to the Bronx.
Right.
When I moved to the Bronx, that's when it all started popping because I was in the fucking home of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And everybody I was meeting was mad cool, and everybody was like really on some hip hop shit. I learned so much about hip hop, so much. I found myself creatively in the Bronx. You feel me? Because I was around Camp Low before they was Camp Low. I was around all these different people that I seen come up and do something in the game. You know what I mean? And we all there together, just learning and experimenting, and it was just that was the vibe, bro.
I seen Geechee Suede in the Bronx like a year ago. It was summertime. I said, "Oh snap! There go Geechee Suede." Geechee Suede is nice, man. His flow is mad unique. Like, how did you even meet Camp Low, man? The Bros brothers are still dope.
Yeah, I met Sway first because Sway was living on the block I was living on. The girl I was staying with at the time, she said, "Yo, I want you to meet my friend Saladin. He's young. He wants to rap. He sing. That's when Original Flavor was doing that thing. We had the videos and shit out.
Yeah,
he seen your video. He wants, he want to introduce himself. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I met him. I thought he was cool because he had his own little style about him. His brother, they was talking that weird shit I didn't understand, but they had like it was different. They was from the Bronx, but they wasn't like doing it how the regular Bronx guys was doing it at this time. They had their own things. They was wearing like Asics with crazy jeans. I'm like, what is these dudes doing? But it looked crazy. Yeah. And so, I started kicking with him. He did a little rap. I'm like, you sound good. I said, you sound good, but you got a lot of work. You don't know how to structure songs. You don't know about choruses or whatever. I said, matter of fact, come with me. I'm going to take you to Clark Kent's house. So I took him to Clark's house, and we recorded our first song. It was just Geechee Suede. I didn't even know who Chiba was at the time. It was just Geechee. So we kind of like, did the song. We kept in touch for a minute, but then I got busy doing the whole Original Flavor thing. So I lost touch with Suede for like a year. But then I moved to Harlem. I moved back to Harlem. I moved to 110th and First Avenue. And Suede found me, and he was like, yo, I want to come check you. I got a partner, and we got a group, and I want you to check us out. I'm like, yeah, come through. And that's when he introduced me to Chiba. And, they had the music, and the name of the group at the time was CeeLo, like Dice. And I'm like, it wasn't Camp Low yet. It was
That's
CeeLo.
crazy. I didn't know that.
And I'm like, you got to change the name, man. That's kind of like, that's going to kind of box you in and keep you like, you want to make it more whatever. Yeah. So they changed the name to Camp Low. But when I heard their music, I mean, at the time, the music they was playing me was kind of iffy, but I heard their voices and how they was going back to back. And I'm like, yo, this is like some blaxploitation, Cooley High, and they came in with the brims and the coats dragging the ground. I'm like, yo, this is
guys.
Amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And we just got in the zone, bro. They just stayed in my house and we was knocking out like 5 songs a night, bro. We was not playing from scratch, from making the beat to writing the rhyme to laying the hook. That's one, to doing it all nonstop. We would start in the morning and finish in the morning.
Yeah,
every
man.
day.
You hear that work ethic, people? That's real work. That work ethic is crazy.
because we wanted to hear what the next song was gonna sound like. Because we
Yeah,
was
yeah.
making craziness. I'm like, yo, that's dope. Let's make another one. Let's see what we can do. They were just, we were just doing it, just putting it together.
I remember listening to Original Flavor. Original Flavor was dope. I always wondered what happened to Original Flavor. Why you ain't move forward? Because you definitely was cutting edge. And Jay-Z did rap on one of their songs, Can I Get Open? I remember that when that dropped.
Well, the record label at the time, man, the record label was doing what they was doing, and they was dropping artists, and we was just one of the groups that got dropped. But I didn't. My partner, Tone. Remember, my first partner was Suave.
Right.
Then later on, I got another partner, Tone Hooker. Tone, he wasn't happy about being dropped, and I could dig it. You know what I'm saying? Because he was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted to do his MC thing, but I was already kind of like falling back anyway because I was listening to Jay-Z rhyme, and I'm like, damn, this kid is amazing. If I could rap, I would want to rhyme like him, and I can't. But I know I got these beats, so I that's when I started focusing really on this production. And Clark started leading me to the on the path of being a producer. He was introducing me to like Father MC. That was my first placement. I gave Father MC a beat. I got a check for like $8,000, and I was like, damn, I could make money like that for making beats. I got 1 million beats in this machine, and he was selling them for me.
Yo, big ups to him. Big ups to him. Whoa. Yo, Clark that's crazy.
Clark turned me into a producer, bro. Because I was a rapper.
How did you meet Jay-Z though? Like, how did you?
Clark
Kent is the man.
You ever heard of Fresh Gordon? The rapper, old school rapper, Fresh Gordon.
Look it up. I definitely will.
I think Fresh Gordon was Jay-Z's first producer, and Fresh Gordon had all these demos that he did with Jay-Z, and Clark loved Jay, so Clark introduced Jay-Z to Dame. Was like, yo, I think you should manage this dude. Boom, boom, boom. And when the day he met Jay-Z, it was at the Original Flavor, Here We Go, Pump It Up video. And Jay-Z was there, Jaz-O was there, and Source Money. And they all rhymed. And I was looking at them like, yo, this is amazing because they all are crazy. Next level rap. So I'm like, yo, these guys is insane.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Me coming from NC and hearing like a rapper like that from these Brooklyn guys rapping how they rapping. Yeah, and I'm never hearing the timing, the cadence, the punchlines. It was all like, yo, how are you thinking of what you're saying, bro? You know what I mean? Yo. Wow.
Dang. So you them songs you did was, I mean, that made the album. Like those are Dead Presidents, Feeling It, Politics as Usual. I remember one line Jay said on there. He said, "Feeling sarcastic." Peeked into his casket, still sleeping. Then the music to it was crazy. I was like, yo, what? I mean, I would love to see another collaboration with y'all, by the way. You know what I'm saying? That guy, I would love to see like a 360, like just coming back to where you first begun. I would love to see what y'all would come up with now. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see that. But what was it? Where were you recording all the Jay-Z, all those songs that you made? Did you go from working on your SP to another studio?
Yeah, I would do it in the house. I would make the music in the house. He would come through. Sometimes he would lay the verse down in the crib, and then we would go to the studio and he would redo it. And but most of the time, I'll just have a beat. I'll go in the studio and he'll just go there and just knock it out.
Wow. Yeah. Did it take him a long time?
No, one take all the time.
Did he have any paper with him?
In the beginning, he did, but And that was rare because he would just, you look at the paper, there's only like 3 or 4 things written on the paper. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I guess that's the beginning stages of him just, remembering things. But Geech Wade never wrote down. And nobody,
that guy's incredible.
He never wrote. Like from how I met him to now, he never wrote rhymes. He'll stand in the corner and just look at the corner for like an hour and just come out and rap.
Nah, that guy, I seen him in the pro. I'm telling you. And you know what? That day I seen him, I was listening to his music. That same day I went out, I went to go see a cousin of mine's in the Bronx, and I seen him. I was like, yo, this guy's ill, yo. And I was like, damn, I would like to see more collaborations with them too, to be honest with you. I would like to see y'all get in the studio, you and Camp Low again. How did you did Cross Bronx Expressway too, right?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you meet those guys? Peter Guns and Lord Tariq. How did that come about?
Well, they, like I say, I was selling beats, and
Damn.
I was in demand around that time. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah. I mean,
everybody wanted to get a beat, so I was meeting everybody. Everybody.
damn.
I just met them, man.
Wow. Let me see.
I always
What?
wanted to work with Biggie though, man.
I was just gonna ask you that.
I was just about to work with Biggie.
Damn, that would have been crazy.
That would have been crazy. He heard Luchini and was like, "Yo, I want a beat like that." And I'm like, "All right, I got you."
Yeah, I
And
can see that.
and then you know what happened. You know the rest.
Do you were you the first to use sample vocals in your joints?
Ooh.
you, do you think you was like one of the first people to do that?
I don't know. Like politics, I know. I didn't hear nobody. I don't know. I don't know.
I know you
You
influenced a lot of people with that. A lot of people with that. Um, let me see. Oh, who would you work with now as far as artists? Like, what type of artists do you like that inspires you to go, all right, I'm gonna tap out like Jay-Z. I'm gonna go. Besides the people you already work with, who would you want to work with now that you feel like I would definitely like to create some music behind what this person says?
mm, like I love my brother Elza. He's like crazy with it. Um, Amazing. I
Mm.
like my homegirl Kumbaya. She's
Mm.
really dope, lyrical. I love lyrical rappers. I love
Yeah,
rappers that got content, rappers that just make you think like, yo, how did he say that? You feel me?
no
I'm
doubt.
really into artists like that. Um, Shoot, man, I can't think of anybody but those two right off top. You know what I'm
All right,
saying? But
all good.
like I say, if you lyrical, and
Mm.
if it strikes a nerve with me, I'm always down.
What's some of the tools you using today to create beats?
Still got my 1200, but I'm not using that for beats. I'm using my MPC Live. I got
Mm.
my SP 2400 and
Mm.
synthesizers, some software, the regular stuff.
No doubt. You don't need much. You
Yeah,
just need. What type of monitors are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
I got the Yamahas. The
Mm.
Yamaha, I don't even know what they call these things. They look like the NS10s. They look like the old school NS10s,
I
but they're
think I know
not.
what you're talking about.
I
I
got
think.
those.
Mm. What are some of the producers that you looked up to when coming up in the game?
Uh, Fanatic, because he taught me.
Fanatic.
Mark Spark, another dope producer from NC.
Mm.
Clark Kent, obviously being under his wing and just watching how he worked the SP 1200. He taught me a lot on the SP,
Wow.
a lot of shit on the SP 1200. Lord Finesse back in the day around that time. Large Professor,
Finesse.
Pete Rock, um, Easy Mo B,
Easy
um,
Moby. Yeah.
Primo. All of the guys around that time when I was doing my thing. Those were my biggest influences. Those guys kept me wanting to be a producer. Because I was, like I said, I was on the borderline. I was a rapper. I always thought I was gonna be a famous rapper, but I ended up
Mm.
being a producer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
watching these guys work, they really like just put
Wow.
that fire in my heart to to keep me going with it.
What do you think is different about the sound today versus the sound 15, 20 years ago?
Well, I mean, the sound to me, and not everybody, but
Mm.
majority of the mainstream,
Mm.
it sounds and feels like it's formulated music. It's like just add
Yeah.
water type of thing. This type of beat, this type of chorus, this type of sounds. It's like the
Mm.
drums are always familiar. The sounds they use is always kind of familiar. The choruses they all kind of sound alike in a strange way. That's the sound. I
Mm.
get it, but they all kind of sound like it's like one big it's like
Yeah.
listening to one big remix sometimes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the day, not saying it's better or whatever, but back in
Mm-hmm.
the day, hip hop was solely based on originality. You would
Yeah.
have your NWA, but at the same time you got the Boogie Down production, but then you have a Tribe Called Quest over here.
Yeah.
You have the Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different types of hip hop,
Mm.
different types of styles. And nowadays it just seems like it's like everybody's doing that. That's how we can get the
Mm.
money. That's what we're gonna do. That's how we get the bag. We're gonna sound like this dude, or we're gonna be similar to that way.
Mm,
You know what I mean? That's how I
yeah.
feel.
Nah, you. I think you're on point with that. Definitely. I mean, we got to get a little bit more experimental and
I mean, it's great.
what
It's
we create.
creativity. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
creativity. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody. I get it. Everybody want to win. Everybody want to get money. Everybody want to be whatever, whatever. But creativity, man, and you can hear the ones like I
Mm,
say. I'm not saying that all this music is like
right.
whatever. When you hear the person that loves to do that music, and you see is that's what they do, you can tell the difference from the person that's kind of copying their sound to opposed to the originator of that sound or someone
Mm,
that's really into it. You feel me?
I
Because it
do.
just sounds totally different. It sounds like I
Wow.
like that song. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Wow.
care if it's rap or whatever. I like that song. I like what they're saying. It's dope. You feel me?
Yeah,
But
I
then
definitely do.
you got the other 1,000 people that's trying to sound like him. That's kind of
Mm,
watering that sound down.
definitely. Uh, did you ever work in D&D studio?
That's the only place I work.
Yeah, yo, that was the spot, yo.
That was
That
my
was the
spot.
spot, yo. I've been there one time, but I wasn't
Wow.
really into music like that. I
Wow.
just happened to go one time. Premiere came out. I was like, yo, I know who he is. He's dope. But I was just like this. I just came for the ride at that time.
It's
I
crazy.
was into the culture, but I wasn't I just enjoyed it. But
It's amazing that I wasn't there because I was there almost every day, bro.
get out of here.
I was working almost every day. Every day I was
Mm,
at D. It was between D&D, Hit Factory, or
Hit
Sony.
Factory. Wow.
Hmm
Wow. What were you working on when you was in D&D?
I was working on Uptown Saturday Night. I was doing Reasonable Doubt. I was doing records with Bahama D. I was working
Oh
with
yeah, Mama D is dope.
Sporty Thieves. I was working with
Oh man, you said
everybody.
Sporty Thieves. That's right. You worked on Sporty Thieves.
Sporty Thieves. I had a record
That's
label,
right.
Rocker Block. It was signed to my label.
Yeah, yo. We listened to
Mhm.
Sporty Thieves. Damn, you said Sporty Thieves. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Oh man, I forgot you worked on Sporty Thieves. You just throw
yeah.
me.
Sporty
Um,
Thieves, Pace One. That was my artist.
damn. Um, how did you hook up with Currency, yo? Currency's dope, man. I don't think he gets enough recognition for being a dope artist, man. That guy is
Currency. What I love about Currency is he's just underground and he has his lane and he's making it work for him. I
exactly,
met.
yo.
It's crazy because I didn't even know who Currency was. I met him at Dame's house, and Dame was like, "Hey, I want you to meet Currency. He's a rapper from New Orleans, and he wanted to meet you. He wants to work with you." So I
Mm,
sitting on the beanbag. I remember, and I said, "Yo, what's up?" He was like, "Yo, what's up, man? I love your sound. I love what you're doing. Yo, I need them beats, man. I need them beats." And I'm thinking, I'm listening to his accent. I'm listening to him, knowing he's from New Orleans. I'm like, oh,
mm,
he gonna want me to do some bounce music or whatever. I didn't know, and he was like, "No, bro, I want you to do what you do. I like
no
your
doubt,
music." And then we just automatically clicked, man. We found our little pocket with that whole smoker, wavy,
no doubt.
cool out type of zone, and we just knocked out them Pilot Talks joints, man, and it worked.
It was You I noticed you digging the crates, man. When it comes to them samples, man. Who had the ill record collection in y'all? Like, who had the ill record collection? Or how because you was digging deep in them samples. You
You
was
know what?
sampling. You was definitely doing your thing with them samples, yo. You had to have like some access. Some older person had some stash, some records somewhere.
I mean, being a kid, my mom, she had her records. I used to listen to her stuff.
Mm,
Um, but I was never really a big digger. I wasn't like the guy who could say, yeah, on side A, B, you
right.
got the. So that was never me. I would
Mm,
just find some records. Like I'll go to my friend's house. His pops might have a bunch of records sitting there. I'll grab them, listen to them. But oh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And just sample
mm,
like politics as usual. I'm in the car with my oldest son, mom, before he born. We riding, and I hear the song come on the radio, and I'm like, "Oh, take me to the mall. I got to go buy that CD." And she,
mm.
took me to the mall, bought the CD, made politics.
Wow,
I really don't be digging at all. I just be finding some cool shit. You know what I'm saying?
that's
I found
crazy.
records.
Wow. Um, Anybody influence your style of production
Yeah,
in the
like
beginning, other than Clark Kent and Fanatic?
Mark Spark, definitely a
You
big
said Mark
influence.
Spark.
Yeah,
Did you ever hear Paul C?
I heard of
The
Policy.
producer
Yeah.
Paul C? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I just was looking him up. I was doing some reading on him. I was like, wow, yo, that was that era. Let me see. Oh, oh yeah, I definitely. So, did you do any DJing in your past?
Man, I used well, not like professional DJing, but obviously I was on the road DJing for Mob Deep for like 3 years.
Get out of
Uh,
here.
mhm. I DJ for Spitter for like 2 years, for
That's
Currency for
crazy.
like 2 years. Um, but DJing, no.
Mm,
I can't do all the scratching and stuff, but I can bring the shit in on beat and make sure everything is rocking.
no doubt, I could dig it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what's your future plans, man? Do you what do you see yourself? What are you gonna get into later, man? Because I want to
I
hear
mean,
more.
yeah, I mean, right now, if you follow me on IG, I got this challenge that I'm doing for producers. You know what I'm saying? We
Oh,
got the Smack Pack challenges. You got to follow me. You got to see what I'm doing.
I seen
But
that actually.
yeah, we're running these challenges down, and it's
Yeah.
starting to take off. It's doing really well. And besides the challenges, I'm also a sound designer. I
Mm.
design a lot of sounds. I teach production classes to kids.
That's
That
that's what I wanted to ask you about. The
yeah,
teaching. That's mad important because I'm like, yo, how do we learn? If you don't have nobody in your family or nothing, how do you learn? You buy the equipment, it's gonna sit there and collect dust. You definitely need some. I think it's good to have a mentor, somebody that to
yeah,
teach you the ropes before you start. I think that's dope. I think there needs to be more of that in the culture. You
yeah.
know, what do you teach at?
Man, I teach on Zoom. I got
Mm,
I got like I have a dojo curriculum right
that's
now in
crazy.
the North Carolina school system. There's like
What?
3 or 4 schools in NC that's learning my production class right now.
Are you
Um,
are you serious? That's crazy, yo. That's big.
mm-hmm.
Wow. How long you had that going on? That's crazy.
This is probably gonna be my second year,
That's crazy.
and it's the perfect time for them now because everyone's at home and
Yeah.
in the dojo Ableton class right now as we speak, and they
Damn.
love it. Class sells out every year.
Get out of here. When can you enroll?
Well, I mean, shoot, man, you got to be like in the 5th grade.
I'm saying no. I'm saying not for myself. Yo. Oh shoot. Nah. Let me stop. If it was for older adults, I would have jumped in. I ain't even going front. Yo, he says only for fifth graders. So you got a bunch of fifth graders you teaching, yo? That's
Yeah,
crazy. They gonna
yeah.
be those are they gonna be future they gonna be future ill producers, yo. You gonna one day you gonna wake up, you gonna be like, yo, this guy did credits for some ill artists. You gonna wake up, somebody from your class is gonna be ill. A couple of people from the class is gonna be crazy ill.
So
Yo,
they have
yo.
fun, man. They having fun with it. That's what it's all
What are they
about. Yeah.
using though? What that's true. It is all about
So Ableton, I got them.
Ableton Live? Oh, okay.
I got them able to hook them up with some free software for the schools, and they use that.
So the kids are using Ableton Live in his classrooms, yo. They took
Hmm.
the instruments out. Now they bringing it back. Ski Beatz is bringing back the productions back in. He's bringing the music back to the classroom. They took it out in the '70s. Now it's
The
back.
funny thing is they have band, but nobody's taking band. Everybody wants to
Right,
learn electronic music.
right. It is down south, right? They do have the bands down. Wow, yo, man. So so do you think that? Oh, you did do or die too. You did, damn it, Ski, yo. You did do or die too. That was a crazy record with AZ. You did do or die. What was that about? How did you hook up with AZ? Damn.
Um, that was actually a remix. They had a version. I guess they couldn't clear the sample, so they asked me if I wanted to try to do a
The other
remix.
question I'm asked.
And yeah, I did it. And
Yo,
and they
how as far as sample clearance, what's the process like with that? That's the thing that's with sampling. You can get caught up and jammed up if somebody doesn't want to clear the sample.
well, the producer can't really get caught up or jammed up because I produce the record and I give it to the label. It's the label's back then. It was
Right.
the label's responsibility to clear the sample. If they really wanted to get that record, they would say, okay, look, Ski, we're gonna clear the sample, but they're gonna charge us like 10,000 for the sample, and
Mm-mm.
they're gonna want like 50% of your publishing. You know what I'm saying? That was the only thing about sampling that I didn't like because the people that you're sampling from, they could turn around and say, I want 100%
Whoa,
of whatever monies you got coming
that's
through.
crazy.
But sometimes you be like, nah, fuck that. Or sometimes you're like, all right, go ahead. All depending on who you're producing. Like, when I did Who You With for Jay-Z, the guy who I took the sample from, he wanted 75% of the song. But I'm like, you know what? It's cool. You can take that 75% of that song because I know that's a good record. And I know
Right.
when people hear that record, they're going to, I'm going to get work from everybody else just
Right.
because. So, you feel me?
Yeah,
Now, if
definitely.
I try to do that for like, Jimmy Jimmy Bob from so and so, it wouldn't make no sense. I wouldn't. I'm like, nah, we'll find a new sample. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Damn. That's the only thing. Like I like to dig in the crates too. Like I'm trying to do my thing. Sometimes I want to, but then I think about it. I was like, yo, is this gonna get cleared later on? This might not even the artists that you taking you sampling from. They might be like, nah, you can't. We're not gonna let you sample that.
I mean, but they got beautiful outlets now. Now they got Track Lib. You can sign up with the Track Lib and you can clear all their samples for the low.
Tracklib,
And they,
what's that about?
Track Lib is a site
Mm,
where they have mad catalogs of records that you can sample.
that's
You go in there,
crazy.
you dig, and you can find records, and they got different sample licenses, A, B, and C. I think A is the highest. You might pay anywhere from $1,500 to clear a sample in A. But if you find a dope sample in the C category, you're paying like $150, something like that, to
Oh,
clear
that's
a
a
sample.
crazy service.
You
That's
know what I'm saying?
crazy. Yeah,
I think Eric Sermon has something to do with that, or Rockweiler, but
that's smart.
yeah,
That's crazy. I didn't even know that existed. That's crazy.
Track Live.
Okay,
Check them out, and there's
okay.
thousands of records up there.
That's crazy. Like, wow. All right, I'm gonna look into that because I didn't know that. I didn't even know nobody could do that. That's a definitely that cuts a lot of the red tape. That you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying that if you want to what I'm saying that sampling is an art. Sampling is definitely art, and you want to when you sampling you don't want to feel like you're gonna have legal problems in the future. Um, so that track lib, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, man. Have you have you? All right, I know I gotta ask you this. So, do you think that you ever will work with Geechee Suede again and Chiva from Camp Low? Do you think y'all ever make one more record?
yeah,
Honestly,
man.
honestly.
Yeah. I was on the phone with Chiba earlier today.
All right.
Sway me all the time. Yeah, they're my brothers. We got
I
songs over there right now that nobody ever heard.
I honestly feel like they needed to come out with more work because I was listening to them earlier today. I was like, yo, the people need to know who these guys are, yo. They need to get their. These guys have been doing their thing for a long time. They've been putting out heat for a long time. These are like
Mhm.
great artists that I would like to see continue to do their thing. I would love to hear them and whatnot. But yo, man, thank you for coming on the show, man. This was dope. Thank you, Ski Beatz, man.
Thank you,
Um,
brother.
anything you want to say to the audience before we head out? Like, what do you want to say to the young people that want to get in the game and follow in your great footsteps, yo? As far as
Man,
production.
just make sure that if you want to get into this game, just make sure you're doing it for the love. Make sure you're doing it from your heart, and just be original, be yourself, add
Mm,
to the creativity. You know what I'm saying? It's all right to be inspired by somebody, but be original.
no doubt. And you heard it from him. You heard it from Ski Beatz yourself. Yo, thank you for coming to the Institute. This was dope. I hope you guys subscribe, press the like button, and share this knowledge, man. And we need to talk to Ski Beatz whenever we see him. We need to try to get him on these sites, let him talk about his experience, man. Because you know, you seen what happened to the brother from Houdini, man. We drop it. You see Bismarcky. Look at Bismarck. You know what I'm saying? These people are not gonna be here forever. So while they're here, we need to get all the knowledge and learn as much as we can from these brothers. And this is Lord Matre. He's Ski Beatz, Super Longevity Institute. We out.